So this is part of the Head on the Swivel series, and what I'd like to speak about a little bit is your soul's purpose. I was reading an article about your soul's purpose. What's your mission, your basic mission? What's part of your soul? What gives you drive to do whatever it is you do in life? And I've reached the point in my life where I accept the person in the mirror, what that person intends to do each day, what I wake up focused on and intent to do. And you want to know a secret? I was halfway through my damn 50s before I ever saw that person in the mirror. What I mean is that I spent most of my life worried and concerned about what other people or judgments or my own perceptions of what the world wanted me to be. I was so focused on those things that I stopped, and maybe I just never even looked at myself in the mirror. I never saw myself. I definitely didn't accept that person in the mirror. And that's something that I think all of us struggle with. We go about life and we pivot to pivot to pivot, and we do the things that our soul is driven to do. And I think for most of us, we do those things well, but we get drained. And we get drained because we don't take care of ourselves. We don't see that person in the mirror. And so, as the years passed, and to be clear, I'm 6'5", 215 to 220 on a given day, I could easily avoid seeing myself in most mirrors because most mirrors are not set for someone my size. It wasn't until those mid-50s when I started to deal with some things that triggered a lot of anxiety and distraction in my life that I began to force myself to look at myself in the mirror. It was actually through therapy and a therapist who basically forced me to do something that I was very uncomfortable doing. I still am uncomfortable doing. And it was essentially to tell myself that I would do for myself what he helped me point out I had spent my adult life most days, most times of most days, intent on doing, loving, caring for, keeping secure and keeping safe other people. And what I had learned was that I didn't feel loved and cared for, safe and secure by some people who I should have been able to realize or feel safe and secure with and loved and cared for by. And the fact of the matter was that if I didn't start loving and caring for myself and doing the things I needed to do to keep myself safe and secure, that I couldn't do that for the people who really deserved my energy to do those things. The fact of the matter was that I was still going to get up every day, intent on and giving my energy towards loving and caring for and keeping other people safe and secure. It's my DNA. It's just how I was born and how I've lived my life and what I do. So, I started trying to do that, and I wasn't very good at it. It took a long time before I could look at and see and accept the old guy looking back at me and be grateful for who he was, for who he is, for who he intends to be. It took a lot of time and work, a lot of commitment. Now that may be you and maybe it's not. But I spend a lot of time with my former students and with people in law and justice, and I think for the most part it is. I also know that most of those folks have some sort of struggle at some point in their life. You may have gotten past those things like me. Maybe you never had this issue, and I'm sure that some people would be inclined to judge or dismiss me, or maybe question my sanity for even sharing this. In fact, somewhere along that journey, people who I thought were my friends were out telling other people that I became weird because I was, doing the things we call resilience, meditating, journaling, talking to a counselor, trying to get my shit straight so I could be a better me to do the things that I try to do for other people. What I can tell you is that it's a journey, not a destination. It's a practice, it's not a mindset. And I'm grateful for and committed to staying on this path. In fact, I can't imagine if I don't, and I hope I never will. Now, for me, as I said, therapy was a kickstart. There's a program out there, Judd Brewer. You may have seen, he's the mind mapping professor, doctor from, I think he's at Brown University. He has a unwinding anxiety program. I did that. I was doing that just before COVID, which really helped as all that nonsense came along. Judd helped me recognize the connection to breath work. And breath work is something I had practiced in a lot of different areas of my life. Anything skill-wise. I mean, I coached basketball, I played basketball, I wasn't bad on the range. Breath work, breathing, oxygen to the brain. I was somewhat familiar with that. And so things I had used in all those different things in my life, that was the first part. Breath work still. Finding and following my breath slows me down, calms me down, and helps me refocus in whatever the circumstances might be. I had never been good at journaling. I didn't think I would ever be able to meditate. I have a son who has practiced meditation for a long time, and he can sit there with his legs crisscross applesauce, whatever the heck it was called, and when we were toddlers, Indian style. That's probably not appropriate to say. You know what I'm talking about. And he can sit there and quietly, that ain't me. I walkatate. I go to the woods, I hike, I meditate while moving. I can sit there, and I try to sit every morning outside and watch the sun, get that early morning sunlight, and I'll do that quietly, but I'm good for like a cup of coffee and my eyes are open. That's just me. But I do meditate. I do try to reflect. And it helps me be more present and aware. I've done guided meditations, all kinds of talks, all sorts of courses, read all sorts of books, expanded my knowledge base. I'm a firm believer in the Tao Te Ching. Read that all the time. Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. I do a lot of different things I never thought I would do. Expanding my knowledge base, rekindling my trust and intuition, and all of it's helped me reset my soul purpose. My soul, S-O-U-L, the purpose of my soul. It helped me see and accept and appreciate the person looking back at me in the mirror, and to be the best self I can be for the people who rely on me to be that person. And as I alluded to, I wish I could tell you that I stay in this place, because when I am here, the most challenging, ridiculous things in life are just less stressful. And while I stay here more often than I ever have, again, it's a practice, not a mindset. It's a journey, not a destination. And I would suggest that you consider taking this journey yourself. I wish you the best on your journey. And if I can be of assistance in that regard in any way, you know where to find me.